All right.
And we are live
Excellent.
on Euro Nation here. Ladies and gentlemen, the chat is going on here. People have arrived. We got about 15 people here.
Amazing.
Brett Shirley, Peter Perez, Mike Easley. Let's get your friends in here. A special interview with none other than Simone Denny, the voice of Love Inc., BKS, and she's also done a lot of solo projects as well, traveled around the world. And here she is inside an interview here, one-on-one, candid interview. How you doing, Simone?
I'm great. How are you?
Not too bad, you know. It's kind of gloomy here in Toronto, but we're all safe, right?
That and it's not snowing. I'm good.
Sorry, it's
No
not what?
snow and cold weather. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. So we're gonna be here for about an hour. We'll talk about a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Um, just want to ask you. Obviously, you were born in Canada, right? You're from Toronto.
Yes. Born and raised in Toronto. Yes.
Born and
Uh,
raised.
both of my parents are immigrants. They immigrated from Guyana, so South America, Caribbean
Hmm.
culture. I think Guyana is the only non-Spanish speaking or Latin speaking country in South America. But as we were talking about earlier, my dad does speak Spanish and Portuguese. So, but I was born and raised in Toronto. Very Canuck. I'm very Canadian.
That's
Very
good.
Canadian, but proud of my South American roots as well.
we are
From Guyana, so South America, Caribbean. Sorry.
we are unique and nice individuals all around the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. Warm people.
That's correct.
Yeah, very warm people.
Do you speak Guyanese?
Guyanese is English. It's English. It's a. I think I slip into it. You'll probably hear bits of it in my speak, just from being around my parents. I think that's probably typically Canadian. So, depending on where you're from, you got a little bit of it in the speak. And for me, I'm first generation, so definitely it's in there. You'll hear me say something or pronounce something with a little bit of a twang in there at some point.
Well, I mean, that's awesome. How exactly did you get started in you know in music? Like, did you grow up around music, or how did
Well,
that work?
you will understand when I say it's part of the culture, right? So
Hmm.
my parents played a lot of music at home all the time. My mom, although I was born in Ghana, she moved to Europe, and so she was more of a Beatles girl and Shirley Bassey and all those songs. While my dad stayed in Guyana and he played a lot of soca and reggae and soul, a lot of 70s and 60s soul and Motown. So I've kind of been exposed to a plethora of music. Um, and then, of course, growing up in Toronto, you get to hear rock, funk, hip hop. It's a little bit of everything.
Hmm. And do you have a special preference in music that you like, or are you kind of the type of person that listens to everything?
I listen to everything. I don't think I've ever found music that I don't like. So I enjoy myself. I mean, I like to listen to things that are feel good, that just generally make me happy. So I will listen to a lot of Latin music. I'll listen to a lot of soca, specifically, a lot of rockas, a lot of pop music, a lot of house music, dance, because to me they're all similar BPMs anyway,
Hmm.
and it's always a feel good message. So anything like that, I'm down for it. Even rock, because rock is some great music that it's high energy and I like it.
Especially like classic '80s rock. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yes, yes, absolutely. But if you go even to the 80s power ballads, those are amazing. So I'm here for it, all of it.
Awesome. So, I mean, when did you figure out you wanted to start singing? I mean, you just were you singing as a child, or?
Music was by accident,
Hmm.
actually. I wanted to do fashion design and visual arts. That's the direction I was headed in. Um, and I wanted to do, we had a talent show at school for School Spirit, and I wanted to be part of it. So what I did was I actually got a bunch of girls together, and we were going to do a audition to do a dance together. And we got to I think it was to Michael Jackson's. rock with you. And we got to the stage door to walk on, and they all bailed. They all bailed on the audition. I was like, great, thanks. So
Wow.
yeah, the same time I was learning guitar, and I happened to be singing "You Needed Me" in for a performance. And actually I was rehearsing guitar, and I was learning the song, and my mom heard me singing it, and she's like, "Why don't you sing that for the talent show?" And so I did that, and I was the only child, and I got a standing ovation out of nowhere, and people were just like, amazed that I had this talent, and so was I. I was like, I didn't know that it would be that well received, and I loved it. I enjoyed the moment. I went back the next year, and I did it again, and I got another standing ovation, and yeah, that's the story of that. I just kept it going as the years went on.
How old were you at that point?
I would say I was probably like 10, somewhere around there, 10, 9,
Hmm.
7, somewhere around there.
Wow. I mean, the best. I guess the best talents are found by accident, right?
It was. Fate, definitely music found me. Like I said, I would listen to it at home all the time, but definitely it wasn't something that I planned to do. My family is very, they're all about education,
Okay.
so it's more about, accountant, doctor, lawyer, they're all professionals. So when I said, oh, I'm going to do music, they're like, why?
You better go to school first.
Yeah, they were like,
Have a backup.
we all like today. It wasn't even the backup. They were just like, why do you want to do music?
That's
I was like,
ridiculous.
exactly why? So I was the odd duck in the family who chose to pursue it. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's awesome. So, I mean, obviously, I mean, you had a lot of pressure from your family to go to school and stuff like that. Um, how did you navigate that? I mean, you're obviously, a full-time singer now, aren't you? Or
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was difficult, still is difficult.
Hmm.
Because they want if your family wants what's best for you, they want you to be happy. And for me, I have had a lot of peaks and I've had a lot of valleys.
Yeah.
In this industry, it's a difficult wave to ride, and but I love it. I cherish the moments that I'm on stage
Uh-huh.
and I get to sing to people. I really enjoy them, and I'm thankful that been able to express myself in that way.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, you were telling me right before we came on that
yeah.
you went for a performance and you took your dad along, right? So obviously now the support is all there.
And they're still like, I still get those. Well, why don't you just,
Go
go and
become
do?
a doctor now,
Yeah, pretty
go,
much.
go to
Pretty.
school, enroll.
Yeah, have you had enough of this music thing? I'm just like, until they will see me, he'll see me live, and people going, oh my god! He's just like, okay. It's like, okay, because your parents will always see you as, their daughter. They don't see you as
Yeah.
the celebrity or the big singer. They're like, okay, that's nice. So but generally now my mom in particular is very supportive, so it's good.
Sorry, some guys are telling me here that they can't hear me. Can you hear me okay now? I mean, I know I'm on the beach now, but there's a lot of waves behind me and
The waves are
trees.
crashing.
Yeah, the trees are they're probably causing a lot of interference, but
Yeah.
just let me know if you can hear me okay now, and we can continue on. Can you hear me in the chat over here? Hmm. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. I know we tested this out, still pretty low. Okay. Let's up that. Is it still low? Is it better now? I'm increasing the volume here. Okay.
Maybe volume on my side. I'm turning mine up too.
Can you guys tell me right now if it's better? Getting better? Okay. Well, we'll increase it just a tad bit more. Oh, that's a big increase, but here we go. You got to hear both of us. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you for still being here, guys. We got Tony, we got Vinny, we got Mark, we got Dr. Payne inside here, aka
Okay.
Victor. I don't know why they call him Dr. Payne, but and then we got Charles as well. People from all over
Oh,
the world. Simone,
beautiful.
can you turn your volume back to where it was?
I can. Hold on. How's that? Better?
Yeah, maybe a tad bit lower. Just
Lower. Okay.
I
Oh,
think that's good. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that should be good. Okay, guys, perfect. Doc Diggler. I don't know about that name. Uh, so let's just get the question out of the way here because we're talking about family. We had Tony submit a question. He works over here in Toronto. He said, Tony G, he says, can you ask Simone if her dad's name is Noel? I worked with a man by the name of Noel Denny doing an annual
Yes.
Caravana party at St. Lawrence Market every August long weekend. The party would go till 4:30 in the morning. Truly a gentleman if it's him. I believe at the time he mentioned to me that his daughter was a singer.
Yes. That is my dad. Yes, indeed. If well, those were called. I think it was the Guyana Last Lap Line.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what my dad would do. It was an organization where three of the biggest schools in Guyana would come together,
Mm-hmm.
and he would have a big party. At first, it was just him putting on a party for charity, and then other schools became involved, and people would come from all over Europe, all over the States, all over Canada to attend because it was the one place they could bump into and see old friends and family and just have a good time and reminisce about school. And we'd have a live band and a stage and different performers. I think I used to perform a few times, and it was just a good feel good party. And all the money that was raised, it was a nonprofit, so all of it would go back to each individual school, split
Mm-hmm.
three ways equally, to repair the schools, send phys ed equipment, computers, help kids if they needed uniforms. They would purchase them for them, things like that, just to give them opportunities and keep the school going,
That's
or
awesome.
schools going. Yeah,
Very compassionate man.
very. Both my parents did this, are like that. My mom started an organization for seniors here in Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
and seniors organization.
Mm-hmm.
And her idea came from loving my grandmother, her mom.
Mm-hmm.
When she'd go to different parties, they would all have the kids in the bedroom, and she would always walk in and see one older lady who had just moved to Canada and didn't know anybody else. And she said, well, if I get all these older ladies together, somehow they must all know each other or know someone or a relative or something. And that's where it was born. And so they started taking them out on different excursions and having fundraisers and different things. So again, nonprofit was simply for the love of people.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Amazing
yeah.
stuff.
My parents are pretty incredible.
An asset to Canada, an asset to Toronto, an asset to St. Lawrence Market, to
Hey,
Caravana.
pass it all around. There we go.
Are you there every year in Caravana here in Toronto?
You know what? I haven't actually gone to Caravana in a long time. I tend to go to a lot of the fetes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, one specific one, which would be Dr. J, which I really enjoy because I feel safe. It's a great time. The music's always good. The
Mm-hmm.
food's always good. And it's the one that I can usually, he has a few different events, but I can always make sure I can get my tickets and go, and I know I'm guaranteed a good time.
That's awesome. Perfect. Okay, so a lot of questions coming in here.
All right. Shoot.
Tony G says, please say hello to your dad for me. Simone,
I
thank
will.
you.
Tony G?
Tony G, yes, Tony G.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Okay, perfect. So let's go back to the music here. Okay, so
Okay.
you were in a talent contest, you were singing and stuff like that, and I guess you got to a certain point where I guess you joined forces with a special group, right, or a
Oh,
project, right?
BKS first.
BKS first.
Yeah, it was BKS first. That happened from me I used to do a lot of session work in Toronto, demo work,
Mm-hmm.
where you'd go and either do background vocals on tracks, or writers and producers would want to demo the track, demonstrate the track, have a vocalist with a vocal that they think would suit the song, so
Uh-huh.
that they could sell those songs to record labels or artists, right? Get it to them and say, oh, we can put that on the album. And so I did a lot of that. And I happened to do one for a gentleman called Anthony Vanderberg.
Mm-hmm.
And he was associated with, I think, Greg Kavanaugh, who was the K in BKS. And they had me come in and do a session. And that first session was Dreamcatcher. And I knew about Chris Sheppard. I knew about the music. I was familiar with it. But I knew it, but I didn't know it. Does that make sense? Okay. And yeah, we ended up getting nominated for a Juno. But that first session was a series of scream here, hold the note, do this. And I'm like, what? Why? You know, but it worked out really well. And we got nominated for a Juno. It was great.
Around what year did you get started with BKS?
BKS, I would say probably 93, 94.
And your first song with them was Dreamcatcher, right?
Dreamcatcher, yes. With them, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I mean, obviously, a very popular song. If you guys haven't heard Dreamcatcher, go listen to it after this interview. And then, I mean, there were a few hits with BKS. You also did Take Control, right?
Yes, Take Control. What's the other one? Astral Plane.
Astral Plane, which was on the Dance Mix 96.
Oh my gosh, I think there's one more. We had Burning for Your Love. Yeah, I think that's the bulk of them. Yeah.
I see. So it was around 93. You know, you were doing demos and stuff. You got found by
Anthony Vanderberg.
And then Chris Sheppard. What was your impression of, you know, obviously this style of music was different for you.
Yeah.
It was new to you. What was your impression of this type of music and how much it was blowing up, I mean, across Canada?
Well, I came out of live music, the live music scene in Toronto. A lot of people don't realize that. That's what I come from, was a lot of R&B and soul. And I was doing a project with another Canadian artist called Devin Martin, was Devin Martin and the Metro Squad.
Yeah.
So I wanted Juno being part of that unit as well, working with that artist. Mm-hmm. And so I've always been someone who's open musically. And I think that's part of being born and raised in Toronto. You hear everything. Mm-hmm. You literally hear everything. So when somebody comes to me and says, hey, you know, I'd like to do a project in dance, I'm like, sure, let's go for it. You know, if I don't know it, I'll learn. But in this case, I had heard about it. I knew it. I'd never sung it. But I was familiar with Martha Wash and Crystal Waters and, you know, all the house music that was coming out. So I was like, I knew what the vibe was. Mm-hmm. So when we got in studio and did it, you know, it took me a moment, but I caught it and I was like, okay, this is great. Like I enjoyed it.
That's awesome. So
yeah.
Out of all the BKS songs, which one was your favorite?
Wow. That's a question I've never been asked. I would say probably Take Control.
Take Control. A lot of energy in that song.
Yeah, that's why I like it. It's positive, it's upbeat, it's mm-hmm. fun, you know. Mm-hmm. I like all of the songs, but I like Take Control. It just has a special, I think, that real hardcore Euro vibe, you know, which is fun.
Yes. And, you know, take me to that time. I mean, Astral Plane, it won a Juno Award, right?
Yes.
Okay. So take me to that time. I mean, how were those feelings? I mean, obviously, you know, you were pretty big time at the time. Dance music was pretty big back then.
Yeah.
How were you feeling at that point with a Juno Award? That's pretty huge, right?
Well, you know, starting out as a kid, in my basement, singing to the basement wall, having that as my audience, dreaming one day of being on stage and winning a Juno. It was a very surreal moment mm-hmm. to stand there and hear the name called and just like, wow, we won. Like, you know, it really is something. I think I can only relate that to hearing my voice on the radio for the first time. And that, again, it's something you dream about as a kid. And to actually reach your goal is quite an amazing moment.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so it got to a point. I mean, we're just going through the time here of BKS. BKS was an active group between like around 1992 to around 1996. Okay, you guys were pretty successful. Yeah, were you guys touring during this time?
Oh yeah, BKS? We toured across. Yeah, we toured across Canada. It was like I forgot the name of the tour, but it was myself with the group. We had also we toured with Rob Bass and Genuine,
Hmm.
so they were also part of the
Pony.
tour. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't remember that. A lot of people don't know or remember that. It's like it was a whole group
I
of
don't
us. That,
remember it being as dirty as
right?
back then, right? I mean, back then I was just listening. I was smaller, right? But I listen to it now and I listen to the lyrics, and it's kind of edgy, right?
It is actually absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
we had a good time. It was great. It was really nice to have had the opportunity to tour with those guys. You know, really great people, amazing artists, and those are songs from those particular gentlemen that still hold up now. You know,
yeah.
so it was a very cool moment.
What is your most memorable performance as BKS?
I would say the very first one actually,
Where was that?
because and that was at Center Island, and we're doing Dreamcatcher, and because it was the very first time I had to go live, and I did not actually. I think that's when I broke my toe. Yes, I
You
had a
broke your
broken
toe
toe.
before the performance?
I broke a toe. It
Oh,
was
jeez.
interesting, and I'd never performed in this genre live. You know, so to
Hmm.
get up and do it, and all my concern was, please let me make sure I hit the bar. You know, let me hit what it needs to be, where the energy needs to be at. Because I mean, just before I went on stage, I heard Robin S. singing.
Hmm.
You know, just on the stage beside me, and I was just like, okay, so Robin S is here. This is interesting. Let me see if I can hold up against, you know what I mean? Show Me Love. Like that was a massive track, you
Huge
know.
song.
So it was a bit of a tense moment, but a great memory for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking here, taking it back to when you were growing up. Simone, which singer? Tina says, which singer do you say you looked up to growing up? Who was your inspiration?
Wow. I had a lot of singers that I liked. Depends on the time with what I was into. Really, that's really it was. I liked a lot of Anita Baker. I liked a lot of Vesta Williams, Starpoint. I listened to a lot of that. I listened to a lot of Motown because that's what my parents would play.
Hmm.
Um, wow, you name it, you name it. I mean, Brian Adams. Like you just, it's all over the place for me. My tastes are very eclectic. So I
Hmm.
don't have one specific favorite, but I'll hear certain songs and it'll be like, oh, I love that song. You know, more that's more I think the vibe I get. It puts me into a place and time and a good memory.
Okay. And what would you be doing right now if it wasn't for your music career? That's from Peter Petrellis.
I'd probably be a visual artist or a fashion designer.
Okay. I mean, I've noticed you kind of. I mean, I've been looking at your Instagram and stuff like
You've
that.
been
You
stalking me
posted a
for
little mask today.
the
That's
mask.
the mask with like the little designs on it. Did you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that, or are
yeah.
you just promoting it?
I was promoting it for
Okay.
a company that I model for. Yeah,
Okay. Oh, see, you're kind of in that. At
I'm
the
kind
same
of in
time.
it. Kind of in it. Yeah,
Yeah. So you're doing what you love, which is
I do.
very important,
I do.
and it never feels like work. uh,
Ex- That is so important.
so let's go back here to BKS. Okay, so
Okay.
BKS lasted all the way until 96, 97, and
Yeah.
then it just stopped. BKS disbanded. What ended up happening at that point?
Well, Chris came to me and he's like, I'm about to start a new project.
Hmm.
I was like, okay. And he said, it's going to be called Love Inc. And I would really love you to be the vocalist for it. And I was like, I said, well, what kind of genre? And he said, dance, but more pop. And I was like, sure, let's do it. Now I was saying that going in, I had no idea what the sound was going to be, what direction it was going to go in, or how big this thing was going to become. I had no clue, because I'd never been signed to a major record label. I had no clue of what to expect. And so when it went boom, Broken Bones just shot off. It was like, oh, okay, I was like, oh, okay. And it was weird because everywhere I go, people would know my face. It's a whole other level of I don't know, fame. BCAS was one thing, but Love Inc. was a whole
It
other
was
level.
infinitely bigger.
substantially bigger.
Okay.
Substantially bigger than BKS. BKS was national. Love Inc. had the potential and actually did go international.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, just walking around with people going, Simone Denny. I'm just like, oh, Love Inc. And I'm like, nah, it's something. It's
Yeah.
definitely something.
Wow. So, I mean, obviously, when in that time period, did you know what I mean? I don't know if you would know the answer to this. Did you know what the motivation was behind Chris switching gears at that point? And
I don't know the politics, nor do I know the backstory to that. So I guess he just wanted, maybe he had developed a relationship or got an opportunity to work with BMG.
hmm
And so that
So
was
different
probably,
labels as well.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I think BKS was Quality Records.
hmm
And so Love Inc. was Vic BMG, which is a major label. So, when you get an opportunity like that, like, why not, right? I think he
hmm
got a publishing deal or some sort of a deal with them, so he wanted to just go for it.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, the very first song was it Broken Bones in
Yeah,
1997.
that was the first release. Yeah,
Okay, and that one, I mean, it topped the charts, right?
it did. It did. Absolutely, it did. Shot
Um,
like a rocket.
let's see here, it topped the charts, and at that time, you started working with Brad Damon, right?
Yeah, Brad was part of it.
hmm
Brad was part of the development of Love Inc. and one of the writers and producers. Yes,
Brad Damon was, I mean, he went on to work with NSYNC
in
and
sync. That's right.
all these other groups,
That's
right?
right. Yep.
How close were you with Brad?
I was very tight with Brad. Brad was like a brother to me.
Up until recently, right?
Up until recently, we were talking just a few months before he passed,
Okay, yeah, he
because we were
passed
about
away.
to we were about to begin work on a new project.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. He passed away last year, right?
I guess it would be 2 years now.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah, I think about 2 years.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Broken Bones. Okay.
Okay.
So I mean, once that song hit the airwaves and it hit Much Music, it won the best video on the Much Music Video Awards. Here, I'm taking a look. The Billboard Hot Dance Music, it was all the way at the top.
Yep.
And then you guys filmed that music video. That music video was shot here in Toronto, right?
It was under the DVP.
Really?
Yep.
I thought it was shot in Yorkdale Mall.
Yorkdale Mall and under the DVP. If you see the opening shots, you'll see the highway splitting off right behind me. I think we were just under the is it King Street
Mm-hmm.
area there, and so you see the two ramps going off behind me when I'm wearing the red jacket, and then of course Yorkdale as well.
Okay. Do you know what the inspiration behind like the symbolism in those videos were? Like the bunnies and stuff like that?
Well, it was Save the Bunnies, no animal testing. That was pretty much what the bunny symbol was for us at that time. In terms of the lyrics, the song, actually, the whole concept of the song was developed by Corey Bradshaw, who's DJ Sweat, who actually produced Take Control for BKS
Okay.
and had produced quite a few of the BKS tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing, I don't know if there was a falling out or whatnot, but next thing I knew, Chris had done some other lyrics, and he basically kind of handed them to Brad and I, and Brad and I rearranged them into a song.
Mm-hmm.
So we took whatever he had written, which it wasn't a song. It was different pages of lyrics. We added some of our own lyrics to it,
Mm-hmm.
and we got it to be what you now know as Broken Bones.
So it wasn't that much different from the original of Corey's, right?
Not that different.
Okay.
Not that different. But Corey came up with the entire concept of, we got to do you guys got to do a track called Broken Bones.
Mm-hmm.
And he had written his own version of it too.
Now, I mean, you were talking at the beginning here of how, things were infinitely bigger with Love Inc. I mean, what were your feelings throughout that first initial song, the single Broken Bones, when you found out that it was just, so popular and huge?
Again, I think I started realizing it when BMG had a Christmas party and we were there attending, and just the way people were dancing to it, it was just like, oh, they know this song, you know? Because
Yeah.
once you go into a bit of a bubble,
Hmm.
and you can't walk around and interact with society the way you used to.
Hmm.
And you also get so busy that you don't have time to. You tend to only be around record company people and other dancers and singers. So you go into this bubble, and you know it's doing well, but you don't get to see the actual response of the people until you do a show, and then you're like, oh, okay, they love it. Okay, great.
Yeah.
You know it's doing well on the charts, but you're not seeing the actual um, people reacting to it or playing it in their cars. Like, I never got to see that because I was always on the road.
Okay. And
I was always
obviously,
moving.
with Love Inc. There came a lot of tours more so than with
Touring.
BKS, right?
A lot of touring, yeah.
Okay.
An extreme amount of touring.
Okay. So and then right after that, after Broken Bones, in 1998, you guys did "You're a Superstar." One of the, I guess that was
We did.
even arguably bigger, right, than
Yep.
Broken Bones.
Yep.
Mm.
Your Superstar was a beautiful track. Another track that was Canadian written by Vince DiGiorgio.
Hmm.
Um, I remember getting the demo tape for that, and there was no specific melody line, so I helped. I literally created that in studio, and kind of created a melody line out of what I heard, and the rest is history. We did that in studio. It shot off. It did really well. We had a great time recording it,
Hmm.
and it has been the song that has stood the test of time and continues to resonate with people to this day.
When you read those lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
and before the recording happened, did you realize it was going to be as big it is now, basically?
You know what? I knew it was going to be a great song. I
Hmm.
knew it was going to do well. I didn't realize the longevity that it would have.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Figured, okay, it's going to be a great hit. Canada's going to love it. It's going to be fun. And to this day, it's still going. New generations are enjoying it, word for word, and are singing at the top of their lungs. And I'm like, this is insane. But this is the type of stuff that, as a singer, you dream of.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that you pray for. I mean, you
Hmm.
don't just want a hit; you want a classic.
Of course.
There's a difference between just having a hit and having a classic. This is a classic track, still going.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Mark Bradley from the UK here asking,
Oh,
does Simone have a favorite remixer?
woo. No specific remixer. I like people who are confident in their ability and can bring, I don't know, a freshness to whatever. You know what? I will say, though, as you're
Hmm.
bringing up the UK,
Hmm.
I do have a love for UK production
Hmm.
and producers and DJs, because they can take an old record and make it new again in a way that I have never heard any other culture do. And they don't overdo it. They don't do too much, or they don't do too little. They give it exactly what it needs to maintain their integrity,
Hmm.
and it's a whole new record. That's
Wow.
not to put anybody else down, but that's just saying the UK really does have a brilliant formula for doing that.
Yeah. Um, Somebody else asked here, Nightshades C2, he asked, stylistically, there's a big difference between BKS and their club techno influence and Love
Yeah,
Inc., club Euro pop sounds.
yeah.
How did you adapt to each style, and which did you enjoy more?
I like them all. Like I said, as I said earlier, I'm very open musically. So adapting, I have my formula is that you give each song or each genre what it needs.
Hmm.
That's it. So I don't need to be sorry, excuse me, bringing R&B vocals over what I'm doing, with there. I don't need to bring the edgy style of BKS unless the songs in Loving call for that.
Hmm.
It's not needed.
Of course.
I don't come from a perspective of that I have to prove myself as a vocalist. I'm like, I do what I do, I enjoy what I do, and
Hmm.
I'm going to, each song for me is my baby. So I'm going to give each baby what it needs
Hmm.
to be successful, happy, and thrive. And that's it.
Okay. And going back to Love Inc. here, you're a superstar. Even higher on the charts
Yeah,
um, than Broken
yeah,
Bones.
yeah.
And from there, you guys went on to produce other hits like Who Do You Love in 1999, and then in 2000, Here Comes the Sunshine.
Yes.
Now tell me around that time what was going on, in your head and with Love Inc. I mean, obviously you guys were touring at this point, and this was after those huge hits in '97 and '98. What was going on?
Well, in terms of just, what do you mean? The transition from BKS to Love Inc. or
No, like
the
during
or
Love Inc. Like I
yeah,
mean, Broken Bones and You're a Superstar established you guys as a reputable dance act around the
yeah,
world, and
yeah.
then Who Do You Love came around. Here Comes the Sunshine. What was it like later on after those two hits came out?
It was madness, to be quite honest. It was just like I said, I couldn't go to a mall. I couldn't walk
Really?
down the street. It was crazy. It was. There were times we've done shows. I remember distinctly we were out west and we did a show at a mall. I don't remember what the name of the mall was,
Uh-huh.
but do remember I reached into the audience and people started to pull my shirt off, and I
Really?
was like,
Oh,
no, 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 no.
that's
And
terrible.
at the end of the show, we had to run out of the complex because the entire crowd got through the barriers and were chasing us
Hmm.
out the mall to the limo, and we literally jumped in. It was like, go, go, go. It was crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't ever think that I would be part of something. You want fame, but I'd never thought I'd experience something like that. I mean, we had a campaign with Sears. One time I was taking my sister Chris back to school shopping at Sears, and I had completely forgot that we had a campaign with Sears because had been so busy with so many other things.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there chatting with her, and whatnot, and these people keep walking by, and I'm like, why are they looking at us weird? What's
Looking at
going
you.
on? What's happening? And we're both completely like, and another person would walk by, and I'm like, is my zipper open? Like, what is happening? Why are people looking? Only to realize that the billboard was above my head with my face on it.
Oh, jeez.
So, because I'd come in from the behind it, so I didn't see what was on it, but there I was literally standing directly under it, and they're going, that's the same girl in the I'm like, hey.
Nobody came up to you?
No, they were freaked out. They were like,
What is this? Like
her. They're like, that's her. I'm
Twilight
like,
Zone over here.
yeah, it was quite funny, actually. It was quite funny. So, yeah, just funny things like that happening in life. I remember one time, my mom would always ask me, well, why don't you just go to the store and get? I said, I can't. She's like, oh, what do you mean you can't? I was like, I can't go to the mall because they will follow me. It's a big thing. And I said, okay, come with me. And she came with me one time. I think I went to the body shop and I stood there just to buy face wash. And a crowd had gathered outside the store waiting for me to come out. And my mom's jaw like just dropped. She was like, okay, I get it now. I was like, I was like, so those are some of the things. I mean, performing at the Much Music Awards, things like that. They were all beautiful highlights. Performing out west, beautiful moments of the career. And then I think we went to, is it Nice?
France.
Went to, yeah, I think it was, no, I want to say Nice or Cannes. And we did the BMG conference, and there was Usher and all the other BMG performers were there. That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking, Justin Grierson's asking, does Simone go back and re-listen to any of her tracks now or any of the old Euro songs?
I do. Sometimes I'll just put them on and play them just to hear them. Mm-hmm. There was a funny time that I hadn't listened to them in so long, and there's one I didn't recognize. It was a long mix, and I was driving with a family member in the car. And I'm like, this sounds so familiar. And it was my sister. She just looked at me, and she looked at me, and she's like, it's you! I'm like, oh, and then the vocals kicked in. I was like, it is me, but that was probably the longest I had not listened to it. It had been years. But now I hear it quite frequently, whether I'm turning the radio and I'm driving it, it's coming on. Like the tracks come on and I'll just kind of smile and sing along.
Wow. And I mean, your tracks still play on the radio. I mean, I don't know about anywhere else, but here in Toronto, there are still some stations that play your songs, and I'm sure your face
Yeah,
lights up when you hear that. When you hear that.
I do. I love it. I love it.
Peter asks, "What is the best advice you've been given?"
Wow. I would say the best advice that was given to me by my mom. She came to performance in the early times of Love Inc. and saw the way people reacted during You're a Superstar. And her advice was, or more, she was telling me, this song is not about you. This song is not about the group. This song is about remembering that every time you go on stage, look out in the crowd, there are people meeting for the first time, friends, people becoming friends, people falling in love. You're uplifting people and strengthening people. And she's like, every single time you sing this song, remember that.
And she was
She's like,
referring to You're a Superstar?
She's like, you're the vessel that's coming through, but it's not about you.
Yeah, that's true.
And
right?
so literally every time I sing it, that's what I see. And I look into the sea of people, I can literally see it happening in front of me. And so I've never forgotten that.
Wow. And speaking about that song, I mean, I was seeing, what was it, about a month ago, something that obviously made you very emotional. And it was that all the, what was it, all the people, all the frontline workers over in Qatar and the UK and Australia.
I was doing a big ugly cry. It caught me off guard. The DJs, called the DJs for Care Workers in the UK, a group of over 2,000 or 3,000 DJs, had voted for Your Superstar to be the anthem to salute the frontline workers in the UK. That was I still actually get very emotional thinking about it because again, it's a song that continues to stand the test of time. It's cross generations, it strengthens, it heals, it uplifts, and I'm extremely blessed to have had the opportunity to have sung an anthem like that still holds up. And that is to see people, the healthcare workers, standing up and clapping and cheering each other on, because I can't even imagine what it's like doing what they do right now.
No, that's true.
There's one beautiful story for me that's come out of it, of a group of seniors, had a seniors home, and all the workers left their families for the last 2 months, have moved into the home to make sure that the elderly don't get sick.
Oh, wow.
What they do is they play, they have a party Thursdays, and all the seniors are up dancing and they're singing You're a Superstar.
That must feel so amazing, and to
it's
see that,
cute.
Yeah, to see that
it's
you're
really
inspiring people to to feel good, and obviously that must,
what I do, it's what I'm about.
Yeah, that's really, really, really amazing. And if you guys want to see that video, obviously, tell them where they can find that little Instagram video. It's on
you can check my Instagram. If you go to Simone Denny Music on Instagram, you'll be able to see it. If you find Simone Denny, I think it's Simone Denny Official on Facebook. I tend to post a lot. Twitter I'm on, but I don't really use as much. But if that's your favorite platform, let me know and I'll post some more there.
Okay.
But generally, Instagram is the one I'm on the most.
Perfect. And you can see her fashion stuff as well, which is it's awesome.
You'll see everything there.
Going back to
live. Wow, so I'm doing everything.
Yes, you are keeping busy during quarantine.
Keeping busy and creative. That's the key.
That's it. Going back to Love Inc. here. Actually, I was looking at your performance. It's on YouTube. It's very fuzzy, the quality, but here at Theme Park Canada's Wonderland, that must have been amazing for the Electric Circus.
Oh, those were great days.
Experience, right?
Yep.
Let's see. So, you were performing all across Canada. You were going all over the world. What was your most memorable performance as Love Inc. during Love Inc.?
In Canada or abroad? In
Canada and abroad.
Well, I would say the Much Music performances at Canada's Wonderland will probably be the most memorable. They would definitely top the list. Abroad, I would say Spain. We were in Tenerife. and we
Wow.
played to a crowd of 500,000 people.
That's
And
amazing.
walked in Spain, yeah, and walked out. Nobody spoke a word of English, but they knew every word to Broken Bones.
This was for like a festival or
The festival, yeah,
okay,
music festival.
a
It
music
was
festival.
that was the best feeling in the world, because you tend to think that you're living in Canada, you're just living your life, you're doing your music or whatever, and that you wonder if it's really resonated worldwide. You
Mhm.
hear about it, and then you see it, and it's like,
I didn't know it
wow.
was gonna be that big. I didn't know,
I
people
didn't know.
don't
I
even
didn't
speak the
know.
language. They're singing the
I
song,
had
right?
no idea. I can genuinely say I had no idea. So when it went boom, and you see something like that, I was just like, wow. You know,
Yeah,
that will stay in my mind forever.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
Um, let's see.
kind of actually like the performances now in the UK. Those are the energies through the roof.
Yeah, and you were just there last year, right?
Yes, yes. I was scheduled to be there all now, but pandemic. But love my UK audience. I love them. I
How
love them.
how was
I've
that
never
last
seen
year?
energy like that before in my life. They're incredible.
Last year you were there. What was you were in Belfast, right? Or
I tour Belfast and Scotland and Northern Ireland
hmm
a lot, and London as well. Not as frequently, but London as well. And the reception is amazing.
hmm.
The song is "Your Superstar" has never died for them.
Yeah.
So it's to walk into that, and people are singing every word. Their kids are singing it. Their parents are singing it. Their grandparents are singing it, and everybody's screaming at the top of their lungs. And I'm like, okay, it's like, all right, let's do this. And I'm usually touring with a gentleman called Mickey Modell. He's actually the gentleman that found Your Superstar when he was on vacation here in Toronto.
hmm
And he took it back, got permission from BMG to press a few copies for his record store. Those sold out. And then I guess BMG heard about it, and Dave Pierce, who's an iconic DJ over there as well, signed it to his label, New Life, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. And a lot of people from the UK, obviously, they always requested on my radio show, loving,
Oh, good.
loving,
Okay.
all the
Ama-
time.
Amazing.
And we got somebody asking, has your voice changed since you started?
No, I think it's gotten better, actually.
Uh,
Yeah, I think it's gotten better. A lot of people tend to think that as time passes,
hmm
the voice fades. The voice gets better.
hmm
Yeah, stronger. There's also a confidence that you have because you've been on stage, you've been there, done that. So when
Yes.
you get up, all you have to do is really sing and enjoy the moment. So
Yeah.
it's a nice feeling.
Look at Elton John. I like his voice now better than before.
They see, there you go. There you go. It's a classic moment. I'm just trying to see if someone's down here. I think my plug has unplugged, and I'm going to lose you.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh
Well,
no.
if it does, you let me know.
Okay.
Hopefully, it's going to hang in there for our interview.
Okay. So, the year 2000 rolls around. Love Inc. is popular. Here Comes the Sunshine, Into the Night, and then what happens? I mean, Love Inc. It just. I mean, what happened at that point?
What happened?
hmm
Politics happened.
Politics,
Money happened.
money.
What else happened? Uh, a lack of respect happened.
Okay, I'm glad we
Uh,
can be honest here. Let's be candid.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I mean, this is the truth, right?
It
Yeah.
happens in many groups.
hmm
It's nothing abnormal from any other successful group. It just things happen.
hmm
I
Okay.
mean, Brad had left by then anyway, and moved on to uh, working with NSYNC and doing really well. So I was really happy for him. But it went from being a really wonderful experience to becoming torture towards the end. And it's really important to me when I go on stage that I enjoy what I'm doing,
hmm
because my audience is important to me. And when I'm singing about being your superstar and being happy and being positive, that needs to be something that surrounds me all the time. You know, I don't like to go on stage and fake that. And it was getting to a point where there would be times I would be going on stage and being next to tears. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do it like
No,
this.
that's not the way
I can't do
to
it
do
like
what you
this.
love.
Like I said, it's really important to me to be in a positive headspace to execute that. And if anybody sees me backstage before a show, they see me I'm very quiet. I stand there, my eyes are closed, and I'm just really focusing on the sounds that are happening around me, the energy, pulling it together. And then I'm like, all right, let's go. Because I give it all. Mm-hmm. When I get up on stage, it's all for you. It's all for the crowd. It's all about my crowd. It's all about the fans. And that's why I do it. So I don't like negative energy.
Okay. So,
yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't have to answer, but was it pressure? Like, did you feel like it was just you weren't feeling appreciated, or was that it? You weren't feeling appreciated?
Yeah, I think it was we all, and I could say for me, payment was not where it should be.
Okay.
And if people actually know what payment is, they'd be shocked.
You were the lead singer. I mean, without you, the song wouldn't have that soul, right?
You would think that a lot of people would feel that way. Mm-hmm. There were times where my image was questioned because I was a plus size girl, and that I didn't give off the sexiest image that they wanted. That one particular person wanted in the group, or maybe that was just said to maybe make me feel uncomfortable enough to stay. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But one thing I do know is that my audience didn't care. My audience just loved what I did, and I just got to a point where all of it was too much. And when I have to focus on all the other things around me and having to look behind my back as opposed to focus on the audience, then I'm not doing my job properly.
Okay. So at that point, I mean, was it kind of like a mutual thing where Love Inc. just disbanded, or was it just kind of like, I don't know.
No, I just decided to go.
You decided
I said
to go.
that. Yeah, I was like, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm not being compensated properly. I'm not. I wasn't feeling the love. I wasn't feeling appreciated as a vocalist. It was just, again, it just wasn't right. And I mean, I don't really want to go into the details to bring it all up, but mm-hmm. I know a lot of people have asked that over the years, what happened. And it was just, it's nothing any different than any other band goes through. But if the numbers are actually revealed as to what we were making at the time, you'd be shocked. Yeah, in a very bad way.
Okay, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously, without the lovely Simone Denny, there was no Love Inc. So then, I guess
I heard there was another vocalist that was pulled in to replace me, and that Top of the Pops had wanted the group to perform in the UK. I had pulled out by then, and apparently, when the group arrived and they realized I wasn't there, mm-hmm. the performance was off.
Oh.
So that's all I could say.
Okay.
These are some good questions. No one's ever asked me this before, so this is good.
Oh, I don't know. This is off the fly, so.
It's all good.
So I mean, we're going. We went through Love Inc. Okay, right after Love Inc., you left the group.
Yeah.
What did you endeavor at that point? Like, what? I mean, did you feel lost?
I wasn't sure what I was going to do next. Mm-hmm. I just kind of took a moment to breathe. Actually, after I needed a moment to breathe after the entire breakup was quite stressful and exhausting, and I just needed time to think and regroup and decide where I want to go and what I want to do. I think that's when maybe about a year or two in, Wildlife approached me about doing a song for them that actually got picked up by Nervous Records and shot up the charts in New York and the States. And so that was another hit that people don't realize. It's a song called I Don't Want You, Coming Back No More. And that went huge. And that actually led to me singing the theme song for Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Okay, all things just keep getting better.
Yes.
Okay. So that was in around 2003.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, at that point, I mean, obviously, it was great that you were still being picked up for all this, right? For especially
Yeah.
for being, the intro for a popular show and everything.
Yeah.
And so going through the years, okay,
Mhm.
obviously after the breakup, you did your own thing. Going through the years, you're back now as the voice of Love Inc. You're
Yeah.
singing these songs. When did that start, and what was that
Uh,
transition like?
that started from actually. Let me just see if someone's here. Family. Hello. Are they there? Hello. I'm just worried that I'm going to lose you. Okay. Anyway, continue. Let's see. If you see me go blank, all of a sudden you'll know what happened.
Okay.
Sorry. The question one more time.
The question was, at a certain point, you started singing Love Inc. songs again. You started,
Yes. How
doing
did
all
I end
that.
up?
How did you transition into that?
Yeah, touring now. The gentleman Mickey Modell tracked me down on the internet. People have been trying to get in touch with me for years.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey Modell is an iconic DJ from Ireland, and again, he's the one who discovered the song in the first place. And he pulled me into actually. He's like, we've got some show dates here. We would really love you to come and perform. The song is still doing really well over here. And they flew me in, and it was for us a show called Reminisce Fest, and it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane. Like, just, I was like, wow. And we did about, I want to say about 10 shows.
Oh wow!
And every show, boom, like just incredible energy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And this was around what time? 2013,
That's
around there?
about 3 years ago, maybe
3
three,
years
4 years
ago.
ago it started. Yeah.
Okay.
And at that time, I was also doing my own project, which was a rock project that I was doing
Mm-hmm.
called Stereo Dynamite Sessions. So, dance never goes away from me, or it never disappears. It's always there hovering. And every time I think, okay, they're done with me now, I get pulled back in to keep it going. So
Well, that
I'm
voice that you have is infectious.
I'm happy to do it. I love singing it. Like I said, I don't do it. It's not about me. It's literally for the audience.
That's awesome. And up until now, you were still touring. I mean, you were set to do, like you said, you were set to do the UK right now. You were set to do here Toronto and across Canada with the 90s
Yep.
nostalgia, right?
Yep.
And I'm sure you were really excited about all that.
Oh, I was so excited to. You know what? Well, it'll come back. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, it'll be back.
Eventually, we will be back. Just some last questions here we have from some people. Will there ever be a reunion tour? Because that would be epic from J Jack.
Wow. I'm going to be honest and say I have not seen Chris since 2001 when I left.
Okay.
There we go. So,
So,
Brad and I kept in contact. I've been in contact with Pilar, who was our main choreographer. Our DJs, Nat and Iron Mike. I actually just sang at Iron Mike's wedding last, was it April?
uh-huh.
So we've all been in contact. I don't think anybody's been in contact with Chris as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I can't confirm that, but I think he's retired.
Yeah.
I think he's just kind of been like, okay, that's that.
So that leads me to my next question. You know what? Every single week, I have people that were a huge fan of Chris Shepherd. Okay.
Okay.
And they always ask me, where is he? You should get him on an interview, do this. And this man fell off the face of the earth. Okay.
Yeah.
And you are the closest person that I've ever spoken to him. Okay.
Okay.
2 questions on that. First
Okay.
question is what was it like working with Chris Shepherd? You can be as candid as possible if you want. The second question is, if you had an idea of where he is, where could he be?
I don't know where I know he had a cottage up north.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I can honestly say I have no idea where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he's living in. I know he's in Toronto. My manager has bumped into him on Yonge Street.
Okay.
So, I used to go to Plady Record. there, and they'd be like, "Oh, Chris is on his way down," and I'm like, "I gotta go because, I can't even wouldn't even have time to hang out because I was on my way to another appointment."
Yeah.
So he's around, but from what I hear, he's not around as often. So I don't know. I can't confirm where he is at this point.
Okay. And the question
and
was,
working with the other question
yes.
was working with him. Chris was interesting to work with. I always credit him with bringing dance music to Canada. That one I'll never, I could never discredit him with that. He had an enthusiasm and a love for the genre that really was the catalyst for it here in Canada. So he always knew the sound that he wanted to achieve, but he was smart enough to have the right producers around who could implement and put his thoughts into the music. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it was interesting to watch and see it come to life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody asked here, did you have an inward bitterness and anger after the breakup of the group? How did you handle it?
I don't think I was, how can I put this? I think what I was most upset about, there's no bitterness, there's no anger. What I think would say has stayed with me was the effort and the work that I had put in to reach that, and I thought it would spill over and be even more abundant than it was. To have to walk away from all that work you put in, knowing that what, there's apparently nothing good there left for you to pull from there, and you to it's like separating from a child, because it's something you love and something you care for, and all I for me was, it was the hardest decision I had to make because all I kept thinking about were the fans, the loyal fans who would follow us from city to city, and then suddenly I'm not there, and what was going to happen, what were people going to think, that was more the bulk of my decision, but I had to save me in the process. I had to realize that, this is as far as this is going to go. And as a woman in the industry, I think it was really important that I made that move for the respect of it. If I had stayed, a lot of people in the industry knew what was going on, and I would have lost a lot of respect if I had stayed. Okay. People would be like, "Wow," and she stayed in it.
Where's your
really?
self-respect?
I was like, "She."
Oh, I think we lost her. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess I'm alone on this island. Simone, where did you go? We still had a couple of questions to ask her. Reconnecting. There was a poor network connection. Guys, stay with us. Let's see if we can get her back. And just the comments here. Shep is north of Barrie in a small cottage. Tony, go find him. Let's see. Is Simone be back with us, or is this going to be cut short? Ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready for this week's show? I got a special one for you guys. And I'm here in this island, and it's tempting me to go into the water. It's tempting me to actually feel that real heat. And that's why this week we're gonna have something called Summer Temptations. We're all tempted with those summer vibes. We're all tempted with what we can do in the summer, but we may be a little bit limited this summer. Yeah, she froze, but it says here, you guys, she did freeze, but she actually dropped the call. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for a reconnection here. Let me try contacting her again.
Hi there.
Hey.
Hi, I'm back. There's a very weird cord situation going on here. I'm here.
Back. Let me just put you back on the actual cam here. I'm sure you guys can hear me, but you guys can't see us. Well, you can
There we are.
You can see me now. And let me just put.
Yes, you can.
Let me put Simone back on the YouTube situation.
I was like, just as the conversation shot off, we're like, and we're gone.
Yes.
Oops.
What are we doing here? Oh, there we go.
Let me see if I can get back here up and running.
You guys can see my background now. Where'd my beach go?
I can't see you though.
Oh, you can see me in a second.
And now my phone doesn't want to go back in the holder. This is fun. There we go. All right, we're good. We're back. We're back.
Okay, we're back, and
that was a very weird experience.
Yeah, we'll edit this out.
Yeah. That's
in the cutting room.
That's fine. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
None of this ever happened.
Okay, so where were we at?
We were talking about. I said I had to save me.
You had to save you. That's right. You were. I mean, you wanted to salvage, I guess, your self-respect, right? At that certain point.
But people in the industry would have been like, and she stayed? Really? So, there was a lot of chatter going on, a lot of chatter about what was happening, and it was just time to, move on.
That's true.
Yeah. I think it was very important as a woman in the industry to do that.
Oh, there's an echo. Hold on. There's an echo from your voice. Let me fix that.
Okay.
Okay, the echo should be gone. Simone,
All right,
go ahead and give me a second.
Are we better now? Is it sounding okay?
Is it sounding better, guys? Is Simone sounding better? Is she sounding better? Simone,
Hi.
Can you say something?
Can you hear me now?
She's not.
Is it good? Is it sounding better?
It's good. Clear.
All right.
Perfectly clear. Let's do this.
Perfect.
Okay. So, you wanted to sell once again for the people that didn't hear. She, people were gonna think, and she stayed, right? And
because the women in the industry, it was just a really bad message for women. Other young women coming up in the industry would have thought that, well, that's what you have to stay in, and I'm like, you have to be valued for what you do. If you don't value yourself, no one else is going to value you, and you have to know when that's enough.
Of course. Do you have any idea of what Love Inc. would have been if you had stayed and things had continued?
It probably would have been bigger. It probably would have been much bigger, but I would have been looking over my shoulder all the time. And it just, like I said, I can't function in that environment where I'm talking about positivity. If I'm singing it, it has to be real and it has to be true.
That's true. Let's see, a few last questions here, a bit on the lighter side.
Sure.
Let's see. We have Tina who asked a question recently. I believe I'm trying to find the question here, but she asked something along the lines of what was your favorite nightclub or place, hotspot to go to in the city?
You know what? I never really went to clubs. I only went to clubs when I had to perform. I'm still like that now, actually. I will go more to a Latin nightclub or to a soca club, something like that has nothing to do with the music that I sing. Because when I walk into those environments, I automatically go into work mode, and I can't focus or concentrate on the music, on just enjoying myself and having a good time. I zero in on what the DJ is mixing. I feel like should be waiting for my mic to go on stage. Like I can't shut off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
So I don't really have a favorite venue that I never used to really go out. When I would be back from tour, I would run my errands, sleep, visit with family, and then get ready to go out on the road again. Okay. There was really no time to relax.
And somebody else asks, just a fun question: what is the most useless talent that you have?
The most useless talent that I have. Hmm. I can make my ear wiggle.
Really?
Yes, I can. Let's see. Can I?
Look at that.
Can you see that?
Yes, very useless but
There
very
you go.
impressive.
Useless.
Okay. If you guys, do you guys have any last questions on here? Um, let's see. Everyone's really enjoying this. Uh, any last questions, or else we will wrap it up. Uh,
You can ask whatever you'd like. No problem.
who's your favorite dance act ever? I mean, are you? I mean, obviously you're a fan of all types of music, but in the
Yeah.
dance realm, obviously we play a lot of dance music, a lot of Euro music.
You know what?
So,
I love the divas. I love the divas like Martha Wash,
mhm,
Crystal Waters, Anaya Day. Like, there's no one specific act,
mhm.
but more a strength of voice that I'm attracted to. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, no, for sure.
The Thelma Houston's, like the voices are what gets it for me. And then to actually have the opportunity to meet these women and hang out with them and talk to them,
Hmm.
I'm just, that's what does it for me. I've had
Yes.
the opportunity to meet some very cool people, and a lot of the people that I've idolized in this industry, in this genre, or in just music that I've loved, period. And it's always a moment to meet them, sit and chat with them, and just
Hmm.
feel their energy. And so there's no specific group. There'll be specific voices, um, or songs, or just an energy that I'm attracted to.
Somebody asked if you ever got to meet LaBouche or the singer of LaBouche.
I did not get to meet Melanie.
Hmm.
I am friends with Lane, though. Lane and I are very good friends. Whenever he's in Toronto and he does a show, I'm always there.
Oh, okay. He did a show
Yeah,
last year, I think.
yeah. He was just here. Yeah, it was late end of last year.
Hmm.
I would say probably last fall. I
Something
think he
like that.
performed at her.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, and I was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna go there, but things didn't work out. Tina says, "I would love to see you do a collaboration with Crystal Waters. I can so see that."
Wouldn't that would be amazing. That would be amazing. You never know. You never know.
Yes.
Never know. I just did some background vocals for Cece Peniston, actually.
Oh,
Was it
really?
last year or the year before, on her new single? And that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
So if you look it up on YouTube, it's called "Are You Ready for Love?" And all the backgrounds you hear are all me. So you hear me saying, "Are you ready? Are you ready for love?" And all the harmonies and all that through it. It's all me. And actually, that was produced by the Boomtang Boys.
Really? They're still
Yep,
around.
yep, they're still around. They're called 480 East Music.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Classic
brilliant.
songs. They were pretty big around your time as well.
Yep,
Late
yep,
90s, early 2000s. Um,
absolutely.
let's see. What else can we ask here, guys? Yeah, I guess. Oh, one last question I wanted to ask you. One of the last questions here. Um, out of all the performances that you've had, okay,
Hmm.
we're talking about dating back to 93 with BKS. What is
Okay.
the one that resonates with you the most, the performance that really blew you away
Hmm.
up until today?
Well, there'd be two, and that would be the one that we did in Tenerife, to 500,000 people.
Hmm.
That will stay with me forever.
Okay.
And I would say probably the first show that I did in the UK, kind of returning to it,
Hmm.
that was Reminisce, and that was 10,000 people under in one tent, singing at the top of their lungs, because I can tell you honestly, I thought people had forgotten about this song. So when I walked in, and all I did was go, "Reach for the," and they went, "Sky and hold ya," and they were all singing the time, and I was like, "Okay, you take." They sang the entire song. I had to hold them back. I'm like, wait. But it was a beautiful moment, and I honestly, even I did Reminisce again last fall,
Hmm.
and it was the same thing. It is beautiful energy, and it will stay with me forever.
I think there's an actual YouTube video of the UK performance, so you guys look that up right after.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably one that I posted. That probably did.
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful moments in life
Okay.
that I will cherish because I'm deeply grateful for the audience. I'm deeply grateful to the fans
Mhm.
who keep the song going and still love it. And I still get stories about it from this song everywhere I go.
Mhm.
How this song helped people, how it healed them, how it strengthened them, how much fun they had, how it reminds them of, college. I did a TEDx talk about 4 years ago.
Mhm.
And that's on YouTube as well. So if you type in Simone Denny TEDx, it'll come up. And it was about 800 students that I had to talk to about the music industry and just my experience in it. And what was funny is at the end, I sang "You're a Superstar," and all the teachers were up the aisles dancing. They're like, "This was my song in college." I'm like, and all the kids are like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we like it, but oh wow, you're like on a whole other level." It was just, it's moments like that that stay with you and just remind you why you do what you do.
Of course.
Those are the moments and those are the reactions and things that make me happy.
What about future plans? I mean, you're touring and everything.
Yeah.
What's on the menu for Simone Denny?
Whew. First to get through this pandemic.
Yes, I think we all are.
Yeah, that's the main one. Stay safe. I've been doing a lot of musical theater over the last year, which I really enjoyed.
Mhm.
So I'd like to do some more of that. Right now, I'm doing a show, a chat. I call it a chat on my Instagram Live Sundays at 5.
Okay.
I will be interviewing George Absey, who's an amazing Canadian choreographer and dancer who I met doing Newsies last year.
Mhm.
And I have an amazing guest coming up on Tuesday, an icon that I would hope everybody would know, but I don't want to give it away yet. I'm gonna have to start putting promo up for it soon, probably
Mhm.
within the next day or two. And she's amazing. And I've got actually quite a lineup of amazing performers, people that you will know and love, including LaBouche
Really?
will be on as well. So come and check it out.
So you
This is
guys go follow her.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on and follow. It'll be on my Instagram Live Sundays at 5, but there will be one specifically coming up this Tuesday. The odd time I do surprise ones because it just suits the artist's schedule. And last week I had Lawrence Worrell, who was the background vocalist for P-Funk and Amy Winehouse.
Mhm.
So you'd remember him from wearing his iconic white Kango, dancing behind her and doing all the moves. And so it was a great chat. I posted that on my Instagram as well.
I saw that. It was
Yeah,
yeah.
that was an excellent conversation. And I had a Naya Day the week before that.
Okay.
In terms of music, I am always looking to do uh, projects and write. Right now, I'm just waiting to see what comes through that I feel I can give my best to.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
No, of course. Yeah.
The project has to resonate with me and it has to be something that I know I can take to the next level.
Mhm.
I don't just do it with anyone. It has to be a uh, solid plan.
Mhm.
It has to be a solid track. It has to be something that has legs and that will has the support and will do what it needs to do.
And obviously still touring and spreading
Oh,
that love
absolutely.
and message
I don't,
from
I don't
those
think that'll ever stop.
glory days.
As much as you want me, I'll be there. That's no problem.
That's awesome. Tina asking, what is your Instagram?
My Instagram, Simone, Simone, Denny, Denny, music.
Mhm.
And you can see me there.
Okay.
It's at Simone Denny Music.
That's Simone Denny Music. Follow
Mm-hmm.
her. She deserves the follow, and thank you
Oh,
so much for taking your time out of your day. I know we have a lot of time now, but it's been an absolute pleasure.
it's always a pleasure with you. So when you contacted me, I was like, absolutely.
And before this ends, I mean, you probably get this a lot. People are asking, are you able to give us a little bit of I guess, a little bit of a ballad?
Superstar.
Yeah.
Sure. Um, Reach for the sky and hold your head up high for tonight and every night. You're a superstar. And don't you be afraid. Think of all the friends you made. like any other night. You got your name in lights, you're a superstar.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simone Denny, and I hope you stay safe, stay
You too.
healthy.
All of you out there, stay safe. Very safe.
Okay, and I hope you have a good night.
You too.
Okay, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.